Hey, happy Sunday, kids. Welcome to the Jaden Show. I'm Jaden Cornelious. Have a wonderful show, a pop-tastic show for you today. We're going to Australia to meet pop god Peter Wilson. You're going to love him. You're going to love his music. But you know what? I think we need to listen to a bit of his music now. This is called Verona. This is Peter Wilson. How cool. Already I am getting down with my bad self behind this screen. Now, I know you want to meet him, but you're going to have to wait because it's time for a Jaden Show commercial break. Okay, kids, are you ready? Are you ready? Let's go and meet today's fantabulous featured guest, the amazing Peter Wilson. Peter Wilson, welcome to the Jaden Show. How are you, young man?
I am
Good. Say that.
I am good. It should be summer. We're going into summer, but it's really cold for some reason. It's 10 degrees and going to be raining all day. So
Wow.
I've got this on and it's cold.
Wow, man. Is that normal?
No, it should be like 2 weeks. Last week it was 35 degrees.
And it's gone down to 10.
Then yesterday was 11 degrees and just rain, and it's more of the same for the next few days. So I just want to be where you are with the heat and with the summer, and I want it quickly. So hurry up.
So yeah, I'll start blowing when I get out. When I get out to the car.
Yeah. I'm a summer baby. I was born in. Well, we've just talked offline. You're born in March. We're a couple of days apart, and I guess Melbourne in summer is kind of the end of February. So I was born in the summer in Melbourne. Wow. So yeah, I love the summer.
Yeah, fun enough, I'm a spring boy because in England, 7th of March is, it's coming out of that drab winter and going into something quite nice. So. Bloody amazing. So I'm 2 days older than you, so I can officially call you young man now. It's wonderful.
That's crazy. Yeah, 2 days apart the crazy Pisceans.
Yeah, blessing and a curse, mate. Super creative. For me, super head fucked, but it is what it is. I'm not coming back as one, I know that much. I'm choosing Leo. I want more confidence, less introspection. I just want...
One of my best friends is a Leo, and so she's certainly confident.
Really, yeah, they do have this tendency to be the life and soul of the party. I was always the one who danced in the corner, or was found in the kitchen on the floor playing with the dog. That would have been me.
Me too.
But anyway, about you, I want to know how it all started for you. So I want to take you back to mini Peter Wilson, your youth, your family home. Yep. What was going on around you kind of musically? I mean, you're a singer, songwriter, producer, pop artist, 12 albums under your belt. So, how did where was the seed sown? Like, how did it happen?
Well, I guess music was something I always gravitated to. My earliest memory would be listening to as a 3. I remember I've got a very, very good memory and a very long memory. So at the age of 3, I remember Christmas '76, and I remember being given 2 ABBA 7-inch vinyls, Dancing Queen and Money, Money, Money. And I remember loving ABBA. Loving that European sound. Not that I knew that was what it was called at the time, but then it was ABBA, it was Baccarat, it was Boney M. Listening to all this, I guess, European disco sound, I loved all that. So I would make my parents race off and buy all these little singles for me. And then as I got older, I would be earning pocket money, and I'd be going off and buying the 12-inch maxi singles. And even in kindergarten, there's a photograph of me where I'm being dragged away from the piano. I found myself playing the piano and loving it. And I guess that led my mum to think, well, this kid needs music lessons. So I was learning piano from the age of, I guess, 6.
Wow.
Until around 8. And then I remember the teacher, I remember she got frustrated with me because I kind of lied to her. She was making me read, or she thought she was making me read all the music, and I was pretending to read along because I didn't need it. I was listening and repeating things back and playing it by ear, and I was just faking it. And then when the time came for it, I guess an exam, she put the music in front of me. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. You're cheating. And then she stopped teaching me. So that was my earliest beginnings of music. I knew that I had an ear for it, and I knew I had a love for that sound.
So I, for one, this is an exclusive on the Jaden Show. I was putting a towel on my head, and I was Olivia Newton-John or Agneta. That was me, and I had, a little press button tape recorder, but I had ABBA's greatest hits. The biggest Olivia Newton-John fan. I mean, she was my muse, and then she was an acquaintance, and then she's just been the most amazing part of my life. And but I was kind of I was just so obsessed. That was me. Like, even before I knew I was going to be an artist, and even before I knew I was gay, I was Olivia Newton-John. And yeah, I mean, this is how I roll.
Well, it's funny how you say that, the towel on the head. I did this, exactly the same thing. I thought that I was a woman, and I thought that I would wear these yellow gum boots and this towel, and then it migrated to pantyhose, because I remember, like, it looked like plaits, and I was looking like back yes, so I can boogie in my mind. So it started there very, very early. So yes, the signs were there.
Fantastic, and you grew into them really well. 12 albums worth. Well,
I hope so.
I remember my dad rushing me to hospital and having to explain to the hospital that I'd put my neck out, because on Olivia Newton-John's a little more love album.
A little more love, yeah.
Yeah, that was it. She was going
hot. That's Totally Hot, isn't it?
I think so. Yeah, it was the start of that album release. It was Nights is dragging her feet. Dun, dun, dun. She came down this with her neck, and I done it with such passion and ferocity that I put my neck out. And he had to explain, my son was trying to be Olivia Newton-John, and now we can't move his neck.
Wow. So, and funnily enough, I love that song, that album, where I remember she's standing against a brown wall and she's got her arms in her jacket like this, and I love that album. It's one of my earlier albums as well. I liked it too.
Yeah, amazing. So when did it kind of move from dancing with pantyhose on your head to thinking, do you know what, I'm taking this seriously, I'm going to get into bands, I'm going to write, I'm going to do performances? Like, what was that transition?
Never got into bands. I always knew, I guess I'd be 10 years old and I would sit there in the living room, my bedroom, recording my vocals really badly over whether it might be Irene Cara, it might be Bananarama, it might be the ABBA, it might be the stuff we talked about, just making up my own lyrics and whatever. And then I think in year 7, or the first year at high school, Camberwell High School I went to, they had a great music room with synths, some Juno 106, the Roland, and they had a whole row of it. I found that fascinating, and then wanted to play on them, and I was allowed to do that. And then I guess I carried on from my earlier piano days and found it so exciting, and then got led to a point where I was allowed to take one of them home for the holidays, and I would just, they had a Tascam 4-track recorder, and I would put together little demos, and I wrote my first song, I think it was at the age of 13 or 14, and it was a full song with verse, bridge, chorus, lyrics, and it sounded to me like Stockache and Waterman, and it kind of, I still think it does. And so that was my earliest thought of, well, I can do this. And then I was about 15, and I was I sang in front of my auntie and my cousin, and I said, "What do you think?" And they said, "You're good, but you need to go maybe get some lessons, and if you're serious, learn the craft." And so that's what I did for actually, before I did that, I went on television and I sang on a kids show and sang in a competition, which I lost, deserved to lose, because I was so nervous and wasn't good at all. And one of the judges, funnily enough, was Danny Minogue. And the weird thing is that we went to high school together, and we kind of seen each other around. So she knew who I was, I knew who she was. And but I was really terrible. And I remember when I was singing it, the song live, it was live, it wasn't pre-recorded, she was looking at me smiling like, you're okay, but trying to encourage me, but I was just horrified. So I think that was the point where I thought, okay, I need to get serious about this, I need to get some confidence, I need to learn how to breathe and all those kinds of things. So really 16 was the age where I really started, I guess, becoming serious.
How did you find that? I mean, I was in the back of a 50-piece choir. I was the shortest, so no one could see me, even if 4 of them dropped to their knees. I still would not have been seen. And I had to rush off halfway through the first song crying because I thought I was going to faint, because even though I could see no one, I was still in front of people. I don't even know how I got my confidence, and even now it can ebb sometimes if I'm in a new situation, and that's after 34 years of professional singing. How did you find your confidence, and how do you maintain that?
Well, then I was the bullied kid at school. So
Yeah,
the horribly bullied kid. I was, I think, gay before I even knew it, and all
yeah,
the other kids saw it before I did. So my confidence was low. I also hated how I looked back in the day, which I now think is crazy because I didn't look that bad. And anyway, I think that I had confidence in being good at music. I could write songs, I could play, I could do all those things, right? So that's, I guess I drew some confidence from there. And as I continued with lessons, singing lessons and stage school and stuff, I grew more confident in doing that. And then we would, I guess, when you're teenagers and you go through stage school, you go to singing competitions all around the shopping centres around Melbourne, and then it's like a circuit, right? So you see all the crazy stage mothers and the kids that are, already fit for stage. And I guess at that time I was one of those, and because we started getting into finals and things like that, it kind of gave me some confidence. And then I sent off I sang in my bedroom on a tacky little recording tape recorder and sent it to a producer who was a radio DJ at the time, and he invited me to go in and record. So I guess that was, I was 17 then, so I guess that all those things that have built up a bit of confidence then.
that's amazing. Do you still have? Sorry, I mean, do you still suffer? I mean, now is it like, well, I'm in my early 50s. Fuck it, I know what I can do, what I can't do. People like me or not.
Yeah.
Does that change a lot with age for you, or are there still times when you think, oh my God, I can't believe I'm doing this. I'm really out of my comfort.
Oh no, I'm confident doing it. I think and to answer your other question, how do I maintain confidence now? I think that as a person, I've grown in a lot of ways that I'm to a level where I like who I am, right? I'm a good person. I'm a good friend to people that I'm close with. I think I like to think that I'm decent. Mm-hmm. So all of that makes me feel so confident, where I guess things about appearance or anything else, it all comes a very poor second. So I'm good in here, so everything else works out. With the appearance, I guess I found my way to a gym when I was 19. I used to have I'm going to share this. I had plastic surgery a couple of years ago. I had this mole in here that I really hated, and I just saw it. No one else would know. There were a few people that would notice it, but I did. I got it removed, got it removed with no scarring, nothing like that. And so once that changed, I was able to look at my face and go, okay, you look okay.
Okay.
Right. So there's that in terms of the appearance. I'm very active at the gym, so I feel good in terms of the aesthetic, right? So I've never felt more confident as a person, but also how I look. And I guess that also comes with age too. So, we all have our off days, we all have our insecurities, but I think all of the good things outweigh the bad, and I don't really think about the bad much. I don't have time for it. And in terms of music, I think over the past few years, my last couple of years with Energize, because I was having some success with the tracks that were coming out, I was offered songs by songwriters, great songwriters like Michael J. or Martika, 5-star, you name it, So someone like that who comes to me and says, I want to work with you, is incredible, right? So, but I guess I was in a fortunate position to receive great songs by great people. I became less confident in a way with my own songwriting, and I was focusing more on other people's songs. So I then reclaimed that when I left Energize, and that wasn't their fault. That was due to just great opportunities coming my way. I then thought, well, if I'm going to do another album, I'm going to do it differently. And so I think writing majority of the last album, playing on a lot of it, that really made me feel, okay, I've got this, and I've actually just finished writing and recording another album, which I've played on, and I've composed over half of it. So I feel good in terms of confidence.
Rightfully so, man. I think it's quite interesting hearing your story. You're kind of echoing, completely mirroring a lot of my youth, which was, like I said, started 2 days before yours, and it was people knew I was gay before I even had a bloody clue what it was. And I was really naturally good at piano. The thing that I kind of stopped because I was told that if my dad bought me a keyboard, I have to rehearse an hour a night. And when I didn't have to rehearse, I was playing it all the hours God sends because I loved it. The minute I had to rehearse an hour a night, I didn't want to touch it again.
Yeah,
Really
it's got to
busy.
be what you want, not what's thrown at you. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like being back at school. Like you're doing this lesson whether you like it or not. But that's
Well, funny thing is, at school, when I was told I had to do the lessons, I wouldn't, and I would just cut class and I would leave. So,
really.
yeah, I was in my final year at school. I was there maybe 10% of the time.
Oh, me too.
And yeah, and the music. I remember actually the music teacher. He was, let's just call him an asshole. He said, let's do a project on any kind of music genre that you want to do. And so I chose Stock Aitken Waterman, and I wanted to prove to the class and as part of my project that they don't all sound the same, that they have different styles, they have intricate chords that no one could recreate. I did a huge thing on it, and he failed me because he hated the style of music. And me being and this was at a different school, because I went to a different school after all the bullying, and I became popular, and I had realized I had a mouth on me, and I told this person that he's just failing me because he's a failed musician, and that all other kinds of things that I shouldn't repeat. But yeah, I told him basically to F off, and I wasn't allowed back in the class. So that's me as a student in year 11. Yeah, it's 1989.
I would have loved to hang. I think we would have been mates at school. I would have loved
year 11, I became the smart ass. I was just, not the best example for high school. No.
Really?
No. My God.
Not fun. That would have been cool.
I like to think so. But just a complete, total mouth of the South. Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, long may that rain, and look where it's got you now, quite frankly. You ain't doing too bad, mate.
I'm doing okay.
So when did you, I mean, like, when you're writing stuff in your early to mid-teens, you've always been a lover of, Stock Aitken and Waterman. Me too, was a huge fan of everything that came out of that stable, to be fair. And actually, I worked with Mike Stock, and when he left PWL, I'd done a couple of tracks with him in London 20 years ago. Loved it. That was kind of my dream come true, to have that vibe and that flavour. But do you think you've been quite consistent in your in who Peter Wilson is as an artist? Because obviously you kind of were starting that kind of funk, disco, great pop kind of vibe, and you're still doing great funk, pop, disco kind of vibe. Is that because you'd found your niche early, or just because that's just what you love, or,
That, the sound I love. Yeah, it's the sound. And I guess I've been consistent, I think, because I guess with the creative mind, as you're going to understand, I can't switch it off. I was speaking to my label just before we were chatting, and he's like, "Why are you in a hurry? Why?" And the thing is, I just can't stop switching the brain off. I can't stop a song from coming into my head. I've got to go and record it. And last week, I had 2 songs written in my head, and I've got a photographic memory, and I had 2 sets of chords, and I have multi-tracks that I layer in my head. I can't explain it any other way. Yeah. Where I know the chords, I know the bass line, I know what's going to go where, and I had to memorize 2 of these before I got into my friend's studio and did that. So yeah, so that was painful until I got them out, until I got them recorded. They're done now. But yeah, consistent in terms of it just keeps coming. The ideas keep coming, and now that I'm writing again, they're coming even faster. And the style of music that I do, I've always done since the Stereo album, the second album. It's been the music that I really like. It's been what gives me passion. So yeah, I've pretty much been true to the music that I enjoy listening to myself.
When you get time off, if you were driving cross country to go and visit a relative or something, would it be your music or PWL music that would be playing on your car stereo, or is it something really random, like you will play, I don't know, A Mermaid's Tale by Serena or something from Enya? I mean, how random does your music taste get?
I don't listen to my own music when I'm driving. I'm a big fan of two genres in general. It's basically the Italo disco that you're gonna hear from the early '80s, which really kind of started around '82. And it's that, so Italo disco. It's PWL, Stock Aitken Waterman, but really it's not Enya or it's not anything left field. It's more. I think my heart really lies. I mean, I love Stock Aitken Waterman, and that's what I grew up with. But there's something that I can't explain about the Italo disco sound, the early Italian dance records. And which I guess morphed into a more pop sound in the mid to late '80s. That's what I'm listening to in the car, and I still have CDs, and I don't really stream, so I will sit there for an hour in front of my CD collection and choose what I'm playing in the car.
Wow.
It's very rare that I put together
Cool.
a playlist. It's just kind of, I prefer to have the physical thing in my
Yeah,
car.
me too. Yeah, I love my CD. My CD and my DVD library, although I find DVD players are quite difficult now. So when did you start getting your first success as an artist?
Well, I think I recorded some demos. I started recording demos when I was 17, like I mentioned before.
Yeah.
And then a year later, I did this singing, as part of doing the singing competition circuit. I did a competition. Was I 17? I was 17, and I decided that it would be appropriate to sing George Michael's "I Want Your Sex" at age 17 in a shop window.
Why not?
Gyrating and thrusting my crotch in front of all these old people that would walk past at lunchtime.
Can I just stop you for a minute? I need the whole picture. What was the outfit you were wearing?
I was really conservative. I was wearing tight jeans, a belt, and this tucked in blue shirt, and this New Kids on the Block hair.
Sweet.
I looked like I was working in an office, but instead here I am singing
I Want Your Sex. Cool. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Unsurprisingly, I didn't get into the final. But anyway, a guy that worked at the record store that I shopped at said to me, he walked past and saw it. He goes, "What the hell was that?" And I was like, "I don't know what that was." But he said, "Listen, you've got a good voice, so I've got a producer that you might want to get in touch with. He loves the Stock Aitken Waterman sound as much as you do." Gave me his details. I got in touch with him. His name was David Wilkes. And we started recording and all of that. And I think with him though, he was writing most of the songs. I didn't really get the chance to write much with him. But he came out with a song called "I Want to Dance." Mm-hmm. And that ended up being my first single. It came out about a year and a half after it was recorded. I had people that I knew had got the demo to a radio station. How did it work? They worked for a radio station, and they said, "Come and play your song, this demo, at the radio station. We support unsigned artists." So I went there, played it, and then for some strange reason, there was a top 30 on the radio, on that radio station, and it started getting voted, and it went to number one every night. Wow. It wasn't signed, and so all of a sudden, the label that put it out eventually contacted the station and said, "Who is this Peter Wilson person? We can't find him." So they we found each other. It came out, and that did well, and then that led to a couple more singles. I did a video back in the day, and so there were 3 singles, and that I guess started my the releases in the mid-90s. And I remember once I travelled to Sydney and did this major radio station, and then that sort of took off. I found myself in magazines and all that kind of thing. So, but then it didn't work out. I guess they didn't sell the way that I would have hoped. The management and myself, I guess we weren't really agreeing that I had didn't sort of work out. So I just left it all behind for a while. But then I got back into it, and some of my tracks that I had been writing found their way into a compilation in the UK. It's called Mad About the Boy on Clone Records. Did a few compilations with them. They ended up releasing my first album, Follow Me it was called, in 2007. And then a couple of years later, Energize Records had worked with Clone previously and had heard of me, I guess, and they released Intoxicated, the first single with them, in 2010, and then here we are.
Amazing. And 12 albums.
12 albums, I think. Yeah, I think it's 12, yeah.
Oh my God, that's a bit of work, dude.
It's because the mind can't switch off. Like I remember sometimes before, Ian Energize would say this correctly. So they would just be getting the current album out, and I'd be already presenting them with new tracks.
Really?
And my new label's finding that as well. So it's just I just can't switch it off. But that's how I've gotten to where I am now.
It's a blessing, mate. It's a blessing, believe me. What would you say? I mean, like, say you've been doing it for a little while now, quite frankly. What would you say would have been, I don't know, the point when you thought, fuck, man, I'm really doing this? And what would have been the highlight of your career to date?
There's a couple. I think that when because I write songs, I wrote for, have you heard of Amanda Lear?
I have, but I couldn't tell you a name of a song.
Amanda Lisso, Follow Me, Queen of Chinatown, fashion pack. So she was the muse of Salvador Dali. She appeared on the cover of Roxy Music's, I think it's For Your Pleasure album. She was a very well-known model that lived the life in the UK.
Okay.
And then she became this disco singer with the deep voice and very, very mysterious. And I'm obsessed with her, always have been. I thought that she needs to make dance music again. And I ended up writing songs that we sent to her people. And after a very, very long time, and with the help of another music colleague, we got the songs to her and she agreed to do them. And the fact that one of my idols, recorded my song, of course she recorded a few now, she's recorded my songs. We've had a phone conversation where she was just amazing. That was a big highlight because she's Amanda Lear. She's one of my favorites. So that's a highlight. But also I think when I recorded Intoxicated, and then the two guys, Dave Ford and Ian Kerno from PWL, did a remix in that style. And then when I went on to work with Pete Hammond, and there's a backstory with Pete Hammond that I'll tell you about. I think working with him, and I've just finished a song with Pete Hammond as well for the next project. Working with my idols. That's such a huge thing. Yeah. And then even with Michael J, who I grew up loving his work with Martika or Five Star or whoever else he worked with, many others. When he contacted me wanting to work with me, that was a huge thing. And there's a song called Heard It in a Heartbeat, which is his song that I recorded. Oh, it's one of my favorites. Wow. But also I think that, and just I guess having some recognition for the stuff, that's been great. And Pete Hammond, I remember I was 17. I know I'm going off track a bit, but Pete Hammond, I used to call PWL in 1989 or 1990 thinking, they're going to sign me. Because of course they are, because I'm nobody from Australia. And no one would take my call except Pete Hammond. And so we would chat for hours on the phone. Even he'd be mixing something, he'd be telling me what he'd be working on. I'm doing New Kids on the Block today. I'm doing a Charlie mix. And then he'd be talking to me. And he was just so kind. And he remembered me all those years later on socials. And he goes, I remember you, yeah. And that's how we started becoming friends again. And every time I go to the UK, we either catch up or we work on something. So it's that's very cool.
That's amazing. You're living my life. Bloody wonderful. I wanted a bit. I was a pop star in the 90s. I signed to Logic BMG, and then it kind of bad management screwed everything. But now I went into opera, classical and opera. Kind of pop music, doing that Il Divo stuff, and I was singing something like Nessun Dorma in Cancun, and this guy came up to me and said, "You know any Whitney?" Halfway through Nessun Dorma, and I was like, "Okay." So now, Stedman from Five Star was my bestie, he passed recently, but he was one of my best friends.
Yeah,
and it's great now. I get to sing Kylie, I get to sing Donna Summer, I get to sing I think. I kind of had to go through different kind of genres in order to find who I was and to have confidence in being the pop boy. I couldn't really sing back in the day. I was pretty, I was slim, and I could hit a note. That wasn't a problem. But I think now that I know how to sing, doing pop, singing like recasting, all that stuff is where I'm the most, I do it 4 nights a week now. I love it. Absolutely love it. I need to learn a couple of yours. That's what I need to... I need to be doing a Peter Wilson tribute.
What song would you choose? I can't even think of one off the top of my head. God, I'm trying to think. I don't know. That's I don't know what song. What you've got to tell me what song you do.
I'm gonna, when I'm offline, I'm gonna go through and make my top three faves. But no, that would be bloody. Introduce Peter Wilson to Mexico. That would be wonderful. It's really quite interesting actually, because I live in one of the oldest cities in Mexico, one of the oldest cities in the Americas actually. And you sing something like "I want to have dinner with Gershwin," like Donna Summer, and and people know the fucking words. Even the youngsters know the words. If I bust out, I should I should be so lucky, lucky, lucky. If I or Rain or Shine, I hear Rain or Shine, which is one of my all-time, fave songs. I'll hear that walking around a supermarket. It's bizarre.
Oh, lucky, yeah.
It's bizarre.
You sang Dinner with Gershwin. My favourite song of all time is Donna's I Don't Want to Get Hurt. Not the single version, the album version, with the more high energy Dead or Alive, I guess, ish production. That song kills me. Dinner with Gershwin's great, but I Don't Want to Get Hurt. Do you like that song?
I've not heard it. I'm going to go and check that out. Because I sing This Time I Know It's For Real and I Feel Good. I sing all these, but I've never heard of that one, so I'm going to check.
Well, it's on there because she did the album with Stock Aitken Waterman in 1989, and it's track one on that album, and it's my favourite song of all time, and it's got such a energy and magic to it that the single version really killed. But have a listen to it. It's good.
I'm going to check that out. I probably do know it. Yeah, the minute I hear it. That's amazing. So what's going on for you now? What's going on at the moment, Mr. Busy Man?
Well, I've just finished writing and recording what I hope to be the next album. So there's, I think, 9 songs that I've written and recorded, and there's one Swedish track that I didn't write. So that's a great one too. But again, if I'm limiting the songs that I'm not writing, but this one's a good one, so I have to do it. So I guess I'll be taking a few months of not doing music to just, I guess, immerse myself in listening to other things and being a music fan. I recently bought a brand new stereo where I can sit in front of it and listen to my CDs and my hidden cassettes I have. Do I have cassettes here? Yes, I have cassettes. I have here. We've got these.
Amazing, mate.
So I'll just be doing that. I think when I left Energize, I realized what I really want to be doing is not be music 24/7, which is where my head was. So really, music's now 10% of my time. It's like I focus 100%. Well, most of my time is with my friends, with my family, especially my family, and on fitness and other things, right? And then there is space for music, and I go back and do that. So I guess I'll just be doing lots of family stuff, lots of personal stuff, getting in the car, like you said, going for drives, who knows where, but that kind of thing, right? And then I think around January, February, we'll start working on the demos that I recorded to get them out. And I'm not sure when the album, maybe at the end of next year, maybe afterwards, I'm not sure. But I'll start working on the music again around February.
So your 12th album was dropped in September, right?
Yes, yeah.
And what's the response like? How's that been going to date?
People seem to be loving it. Yeah, I love the fact that they're responding to something that I've written mostly myself. Right, Michael J did write 2 tracks on that album, and one of them was with Martika from many years ago. It was a shelved track that never came out. I got it, so that's good. And then I've just released the single with Sean Smith, "Happy That You Found Me," which is it's a cover of a Melody Festivalen track from 2024. It's such a good one, and we wanted to do another duet, so we chose that, and that just top 30 in the UK. I went top 30 on Friday, so that was really good. So yeah, the response has been great. There's a track, especially there's the song "Confidence," which I wrote, which is, I guess, a little bit about what we were talking about before, but also about something else that's quite personal. And there's that song. There's "Hearts in Danger," which I love. They're 2 of my favorites on the album, and I love those so much, and the fact that people love those tracks, that makes me really happy.
Makes you feel good, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So future plans, apart from, I mean, not like down the road as in January, February, but like what's kind of your long-term goals?
Well, I think to be happy and to be a good person. That's what my goal is, really, to be a good friend, to be a good family member, to be that's really where I am. Music will come up here and there. It'll be obviously another. I don't know. I haven't looked beyond the album that I've just finished writing. I can't look that far ahead. As much as my brain sometimes wants to, I just switch it off. Right. Yeah. So I think that. So just to be, present for my family members. I've got a niece and nephew who are quite young, and I enjoy spending time with them. Or I'll just, hang out with my friends, or go grab dinner, or we'll just talk shit, stay up late, listen to music. That's where my head's at. I guess with a lot of crap that this world is going through, I kind of put the blinkers on, and I kind of live in a bubble, and I just think about only what's positive, and I just do that. That's all I do. And then I know that in September, I think mid 2027, I'm going back to the UK. Okay. That will be great. So looking forward to that. But apart from that, who knows? Just to be happy is
going with the happiness flow.
Just keep it on, because that's where I am now. I feel really good.
Lovely.
And I've long talked about mental health struggles that I've faced in the past, and I'm on top of all that, and I'm feeling great. I'm feeling confident. I'm feeling content within here. So just to keep that happening.
Lovely,
and that's it. And eat some really bad for you food. Eat the junk food. Do all the things you shouldn't do.
We've got Christmas coming up, so that's the perfect time to get down with your bad self.
Every day is. Well, look, I eat pretty healthy. I don't smoke. I don't do drugs. I don't drink alcohol. So for me, last night was a KFC dinner, and just you gotta enjoy that stuff.
You're a long time dead, so that's what this life's about, right? Doing what you love.
This is it. And you know what? Some people will say, "Oh, but I eat healthy," but you got to indulge in little things. And because I don't do any of that other stuff that I'm sure other people do, which is fine, I just don't. So my indulgence is my junk food, and that's my thing.
No, me too. And long may that work for you, mate. I'm looking forward to the next 12 albums. And I hope you'll come back on the Jaden show and talk about those as well. And if in your busy 2026 schedule, there's room for a collaboration with a little London pop boy who lives in the mountains of Mexico, have a studio we can work remote. It would be lovely to do a duet with you, Governor.
All right, then.
We can do something. That would be super cool. Peter Wilson, I thank you so much for your time, so much for your time.
Thanks for having me. Thank you.
Bloody pleasure, mate. Keep in touch and let me know when the next EP's dropped, and we'll do a little interview and we'll do a little promotion thing for that. That would be super cool.
Thank you so much.
Enjoy your pizza, mate. Love it. I will catch up with you later, bud. You take care.
Yeah. Bye.
See you later, man. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
What a cool guy. It's really funny. Most of the guests of late have been mirroring my youth. Quite scary, really. Obviously, like attracts like, I guess. Super great to speak to him. I hope you loved him too, and I hope you go and follow him on his social media and his music streaming and download platforms. That's where you're going to find all his stuff. So go and check the brother out. Absolutely. Please make sure you share, like, and comment on this episode. Please subscribe to this channel. You'll be doing me and all of my guests a wonderful favor. And I'm going to leave you with another song by Peter Wilson. It's called Confidence. And I will see you next Sunday on The Jaden Show. Take care. Bye-bye.
down. I never saw it at the time. I was silenced by the sound of excuses and your lies. I fought so hard to get here, to stand and rise above. Now I know you were the problem. What we had was never love. I found my confidence. My confidence. My confidence. Confidence. Found my confidence. There ain't no turning back. There ain't no turning back. My confidence. Confidence. My confidence. Confidence. My confidence. Confidence. Found my confidence. There ain't no turning back. There ain't no turning back. There ain't no turning back. Silence by the sound.